Have you ever felt like you were fighting something invisible, as if life were conspiring against you instead of for you? Perhaps you've asked yourself, amidst the chaos, why is this happening to me? Or worse, am I doing it all wrong? The truth is, behind this feeling of uncertainty lies a profound and often overlooked answer. The universe doesn't make mistakes. Yes, as hard as it is to believe when things fall apart, when doors close, or when plans go completely off script, what's happening now is exactly what needs to happen. It may seem unfair, it may seem random, but it's not. There's a silent order behind the apparent chaos. There's an intelligence that organizes events, people, falls and new beginnings with a precision that the rational mind can't yet fully comprehend. And it's not about magic or superstition. It's about trust. Trust in something greater than your control. Because control is an illusion we've been taught to pursue since childhood. We were told we needed to have everything under control, that we should plan every step, every detail, and that any deviation would be a failure. But is that really the case? Or could this deviation be just the push you needed to get you to what you truly need? Have you ever been there? That moment when everything seemed to go wrong, but looking back, was exactly what led to an unexpected, perhaps even wonderful turnaround. Maybe you lost something, a job, a relationship, an opportunity, and felt defeated. But later you realized that loss was actually a liberation in disguise. What you're about to discover may surprise you. Life isn't punishing you, it's guiding you. It's hard to accept this in the midst of the turmoil, the pain, the fear, the anxiety. They scream too loudly. But the universe, this great mystery that pulses with the same energy that exists within you, is always in motion, working silently to give you exactly what you need. Not what you want in the moment, but what will transform you. And when you start to see it this way, something changes. The weight begins to lift. You begin to realize that maybe, just maybe, you don't have to fight so hard. Maybe the secret lies in trusting, truly trusting, not with words, but with your heart, taking a deep breath and accepting that everything, absolutely everything, has a reason, even the things that now seem meaningless. Stay with me until the end, because what we'll explore next could completely change how you approach life's difficult moments. We'll delve deeper into this idea that the universe never misses its mark, and that even when everything seems out of place, perhaps the pieces are falling into place in ways you can't yet see. And it's precisely at this point, when everything seems uncertain, when you feel like you've lost control, that something magical begins to happen. Little by little, without you realizing it, the pieces that once seemed scattered begin to move. People appear, opportunities arise, paths reveal themselves, not by chance, but because you finally stopped resisting and started trusting. Trusting that the universe isn't against you, it's with you all the time. And that doesn't mean you'll never feel fear, doubt, or pain again. It just means that, even in the midst of the storm, there's an invisible thread of purpose connecting everything. And when you begin to see it this way, you stop feeling lost and start feeling guided. Every situation, even the painful ones, begins to take on new meaning, a new place within you. If this topic resonates with you, if at any point these words touched you or awakened something within your heart, take the opportunity to like this video. It's a simple gesture, but it has a huge impact. When you like, comment, and share, you're not just supporting this channel, you're helping this message reach others who, perhaps right now, need it. And if you want to continue diving into reflections like this, with depth, purpose, and soul, subscribe to the channel here. I truly believe these conversations have the power to transform, and the more people join us on this journey, the stronger this emerging community will be. People who, like you, are awakening to something greater. By the way, leave a comment below. What part resonated with you the most? I read everything with great care, because this is our space, a place for us to remember that we are not alone on this journey. Now, take a deep breath, because what comes next will further deepen this vision of trusting in life. Even when everything seems to be falling apart, the journey is just beginning. Letting go of control seems simple, but it's one of the greatest challenges we face. From an early age, we were taught to hold on tightly to everything: our plans, our relationships, our certainties. We were told that giving up is a failure, that giving in is weakness. But no one talked about the exhaustion that comes from trying to control every detail of life. No one taught us that sometimes the greatest courage is letting go. Yes, let go. Let life breathe on its own. Let the universe make the invisible adjustments our anxious minds can't predict. Because behind this incessant desire for control, there's fear. Fear of loss, of making mistakes, of being surprised by the unexpected. But it's curious how life begins to flow better when you let go a little. It's not about passivity, but about active trust. A trust that comes from within, that says, even if I don't understand it now, something bigger is taking care of this. And this leads us to something much deeper, the moment you stop searching. Because excessive searching for answers, for meaning, for guarantees, often distances us from precisely what we want to find. There is a quiet beauty in surrender, an almost magical peace in the act of allowing. When you stop chasing, what truly matters begins to come to you, not through effort, but through attunement. You know that feeling of always chasing something and never achieving it? It's like trying to scoop up water with your hands too tightly clenched. Stiffness stifles the flow. Now when you relax, when you accept that you don't have all the answers and don't need them right now, something shifts. The answers start to come. The pieces move. And you realize that life wasn't waiting for you to fight. It was waiting for you to be there. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because there's something few people talk about, but which changes everything when you truly understand it. Every obstacle you've faced so far, every no, every disappointment, every setback, wasn't a punishment. It was an invitation, a call to growth. The universe doesn't punish, it prepares. And often what seems like a setback is just an invisible alignment happening behind the scenes of your story. You can look back now and realize this. That relationship that ended, the job you lost, the opportunity that slipped away, everything that seemed to knock you to the ground may have been the fertile ground where you began to grow stronger roots. The pain shaped you, brought you closer to your essence, because you only truly grow when something breaks inside. You only evolve when comfort gives way to transformation. It's at this point that we realize something even more powerful. You were never alone in all this. Never. Even when you felt isolated, lost, disconnected, you were still part of the whole. You were still a wave within the ocean. The universe doesn't turn its back on you because it is you. The same intelligence that moves the stars also pulses within you, silently guiding you, even when everything seems still. And it is in this union with the whole that peace is born. Not the illusory peace of having everything resolved, but the genuine peace of being present, whole, and aware. Accepting the now is an act of freedom. When you stop struggling against what's happening, you begin to realize that perhaps you already have everything you need right now. And the rest will come in due time. Not when you push, but when you allow it. True trust doesn't require proof. It requires presence. When you truly trust, tension disappears. Your body relaxes. Your mind opens. You stop living at war with life and start dancing with it. And in this dance, you'll be surprised by how much more easily things begin to unfold. What was once effort becomes flow. What was once doubt becomes clarity. Because trusting is living, with looser shoulders, a lighter heart, and eyes more open to the present. And when you surrender to this journey, something curious begins to happen. You become more sensitive to signs. Not the mystical, exaggerated ones that promise immediate answers, but the subtle, almost imperceptible ones. A conversation that arrives at just the right time, a book that appears by chance, an intuition that appears out of nowhere. These moments are not coincidences. They are small alignments, silent messages that yes, you are on the right path, but you have to be alert, because sometimes these signs don't come beautifully packaged. They arrive through discomfort, a crisis, something that seems to be going wrong, and the first reaction is to reject, to run away, to question. Why this now? You think. But what if, instead, you asked, what is this trying to show me? Changing the question changes everything. Pain becomes a teacher, discomfort becomes a guide, and doubt becomes a bridge. You begin to realize that the universe doesn't speak our logical, linear, immediate language. It communicates through experiences. It shapes your mindset through experience, not theory. And often, the lesson only reveals itself after you've gone through the process. Before that, everything seems confusing. But it's at this point that trust becomes essential. Trusting without seeing. Trusting while walking in the dark. Because that's how true inner freedom is built. In fact, talking about freedom is important here. Because we often think that being free means being able to choose everything. control everything, decide every detail of our journey. But this is an illusion. True freedom comes when you understand that you don't need to know the end to walk. It comes when you recognize that letting go of control isn't about losing yourself. It's about finding yourself on a deeper level. It's about discovering that you never had to carry the weight of the world alone. And here comes one of the most impactful revelations of this entire journey. You don't have to try so hard to be accepted, to be loved, to feel sufficient, because everything you sought outside, recognition, direction, validation, already exists within. The universe didn't create you incomplete. You didn't come with a factory defect. You are whole, even when you feel fragmented. And recognizing this is like coming home after a long time away from yourself. This realization transforms your perspective. You begin to see others with more compassion because you understand that everyone is fighting an internal battle that isn't always visible. You begin to have more patience with life because you realize that things have a right time to blossom. You begin to act with more intention because you understand that each decision is a seed planted in the invisible field of existence, and what you cultivate with presence grows with power. Your life stops being a battlefield and becomes fertile ground for transformation. Anxiety fades because you're no longer chasing. You're walking alongside. Fear dissolves because confidence takes its place, and you become someone who inspires, not because you have all the answers, but because you've learned to walk calmly even without knowing your destination. This is the difference between surviving and living. Surviving is fighting against the flow. Living is dancing with it. And when you choose to trust, even moments of pain become part of a greater dance. You learn to honor your rhythm, to respect the cycles, to understand that everything, absolutely everything, has a role in your journey of evolution. And make no mistake, trusting doesn't mean being passive. It means acting consciously. It means making decisions aligned with your essence, not fear. It means choosing what expands you, not what merely keeps you safe. And most importantly, it means making room for the new. Because the universe can't deliver something different if you're clinging to what no longer makes sense. So, yes, sometimes life will push you. It will take you out of your comfort zone. It will force you to look at what you've been avoiding. But this isn't punishment. It's movement. It's life telling you, you're ready for something bigger, even if you don't know it yet. And when you understand this, fear diminishes, surrender becomes natural, and the flow of life begins to carry you to places you never imagined. And if all this has made sense to you so far, it's because something inside you is already opening to this new way of living. A life that's less anxious, less controlled, more intuitive, more authentic. A life where you no longer need to prove anything to anyone, where you just are, and that's enough. And when you write those words, "This makes sense to me," you may not even realize it, but you're declaring something much bigger. You're saying sincerely that you're ready to live with more surrender, more awareness, and more truth. Because something inside you has grown tired of fighting the tide, and in that exhaustion, an opening has emerged, a sacred space where there's finally permission to feel, to slow down, to trust. This shift in internal attitude changes absolutely everything. You realize, for example, that time is not your enemy. It's not against you. Life isn't delayed. It's just right. Perhaps what seems slow is actually preparation. And this applies to everything. Relationships, projects, healing, new beginnings. There's a greater, much wiser rhythm than our impatience tends to accept. But when you tune into this rhythm, when you stop comparing yourself, putting pressure on yourself, blaming yourself for not being advanced enough, something aligns. You begin to walk in peace with time. And the most beautiful thing is that in this place of surrender, you become more present. You begin to notice things that previously went unnoticed. The sparkle in a look, the silence between two words, the wind that touches your face without asking permission. Because true peace isn't found in some distant, idealized future. It's hidden in the simplicity of the now, the moment you let go of expectations and simply allow yourself to be. And perhaps this will be one of the greatest revolutions of your life, accepting the present without resistance. It doesn't mean you'll settle, but it does mean you'll stop rejecting what's already here. Because no matter how much you want to change your reality, transformation always begins from where you are, and that requires courage. The courage to look at yourself honestly, to embrace your pain without judgment, to stop running from your own shadow, because it is there, precisely there, that the seed of freedom resides. When you learn to inhabit this moment fully, you realize that much of your anguish came from trying to escape it. And the most curious thing? Nothing needs to change externally for you to feel this lightness. It's an internal shift, a change in your perspective, a recognition that life is happening here now and that you don't need to rush to reach it. It's already passing through you. And this is where many things begin to fall into place. You realize that you no longer need to be controlled by the anxiety of tomorrow or the pain of the past. You can indeed build a new path from the present, and this path is shaped by small choices, choosing to trust, even when afraid, choosing to breathe, even when tense, choosing to act with intention, even when doubtful. Confidence isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward despite it. It's deciding that you'll no longer be held hostage by the need for certainty. Because, if you think about it, most of the most important things that have happened in your life, you didn't plan. They just arrived. And they didn't arrive by accident. They arrived when you were ready, even if you didn't know it yet. And perhaps this is the great shift in consciousness, realizing that life doesn't happen on the outside, it springs from within. When you change, everything changes. When you align with who you truly are, the universe responds. It reflects your vibration with impressive accuracy, and you begin to live less by effort and more by attunement. And if you're starting to feel this now, congratulations, not for having arrived somewhere, but for having awakened to what was already there. It always was. Your peace doesn't depend on achievements. Your freedom doesn't reside in the future. They are states that reveal themselves when you silence, trust, and simply allow. It's as if, little by little, you stop searching and begin to notice. Realize that it's already happening, that you already are, that everything you thought you needed to find was actually just waiting for you to stop, to finally see it. And this vision changes everything. Your relationships become lighter because you stop projecting unrealistic expectations onto others. Your decisions become firmer because they come from within, not from the need to please. Your journey gains depth because you understand that each step, even the most confusing ones, is part of a greater plan. And no, you don't need to have everything figured out to live with confidence. You just need to decide to surrender to the process. Choose to look at life with more openness, more gratitude, more curiosity, because the universe doesn't work in haste, it works with precision. And when you enter this flow, you begin to realize that every detail has a reason, every silence carries an answer, every wait holds a purpose. And if you've come this far feeling like all this speaks directly to you, it's because something inside you is changing, and this change is real. It's the beginning of a new stage, a stage where control gives way to confidence, where fear gives way to feeling, where life stops being a battle and becomes a dance. If you've stuck with me this far, it's because this conversation touched you in some way, and that, to me, says a lot. It means you're also on this journey of letting go of control, of trusting life more, of seeing meaning even in silence. And if this content made a difference to you, if it brought you clarity or simply soothed your heart a little, then it's worth continuing to walk along. Take advantage and subscribe to the channel, not as an automatic gesture, but as a commitment to yourself. Because the idea here is to continue creating spaces like this, safe, profound, real. Each video is designed to help you look within, breathe deeper, and live more consciously. And when you subscribe, like, and comment, you not only strengthen this exchange, but also help this message reach those who also need to hear it. By the way, if you made it to the end of this video, right here in the comments, that message was for me. I'd love to know you've stuck around this far. It shows me we're truly connected on this journey. And if you felt this connection, leave a like. It's a simple way of saying, this made me feel good. And rest assured, this gesture helps this space grow and continue to exist. Oh, and it doesn't stop there. There's a video right here that goes into more depth on this topic. Click through and stay with me there. There's more good stuff waiting for you.